Hey everyone, TLOU Strategists here bringing you the third installment of my beginner guide series. This episode is absolutely packed with tips, but if you haven't checked out the first two installments of this series, please do so now or immediately following this video. I highly recommend it. For everyone who has supported this channel and helped it grow to what it is at this point, I offer you a huge thank you. This channel is relatively meaningless without your input and participation. Right after this Shiv, we'll discuss the first segment, which is the importance of using the map radar. The map radar is one of the most important elements of the game. When players run, they show up as a glowing red dot. Players should always keep this map radar kind of in their peripheral the entire time they play. When players run, they shine that right dot and it makes them easier to track and ultimately to down as well. Here's another example. I have two players in front of me that are running. I'm taking my time here, tracking their movements. Based on the glow, I can tell which direction he's going, and he never even saw that coming. It's also really important to know when is a good time to run. At the very beginning, the two teams start on opposite sides. You should run to the first box, or even run closer towards your second or your cover that you're going to take. But once you get towards the middle of the map, you probably should stop running. It makes for an easy target. The other thing you notice here is on the time clock, every 20 seconds is the different spawn times. 40 seconds, 20 seconds, and at the minute mark. It's important to kind of keep this timing in mind. As I'll illustrate in the next clip, knowing when these spawn times are, it can be very important to knowing how many opponents you're going against. So I get downed and executed here. Notice I just missed the spawn time, so I have to wait 19 seconds until the next one. You'll notice that my teammate will be executed before this time as well. One of the most important things that you should never do is run from your spawn point. See, he runs, he gives away our location and the direction that we're heading. And he doesn't even get to the box any faster than I do. Don't run from the spawn points. It makes you easy prey. Another important thing to know is to know where and when someone drops a bomb. Where the arrow marks, you can see a name indication. And then that person drop a bomb. That's what the bomb looks like on the map, and you can also see that he's moving forward a little bit. This makes it easy to track your opponents, and also remember that they placed a bomb near that area. This next segment is all about spawn awareness. You may not have known this, but each player is assigned one of the 4 slots for each team. Based off of which slot is X'd out, that means that player is currently executed and out of the game. I'll show you an example of this right now. I have Chronix Reaper in the sights here, and we'll execute him.
Firefly, watch yourself.
Notice the third slot is now X'd out, meaning that he's dead. Also note that it's 9:46, so in 6 seconds he will respawn.
Try some smoke.
See, he just respawned, and actually you can even see his name ID in the upper left corner.
Down one uniform.
And now I go for the special. The third slot is now X'd out again. He won't be able to respawn for 17 seconds. This is important to know which players on which teams are no longer active. And also know that you can kill the same player in less than 15 seconds.
Firefly, watch yourself.
It's also very important to realize where both your teammates and yourself spawn in.
I can't see.
We take out 3 of our opponents here.
One down. That's one.
In 10 seconds, they will respawn along with one of our teammates. Based off where my teammate spawns in, I can make a good educated guess of where the opponents are. My teammate just spawned in just in front of me to the right.
I'm all done.
This means that most likely our opponents spawned just opposite of us in that upper corner. And as you'll see here, one of them gets marked. And that's exactly where they are. This next segment is all about Shiv Awareness. It's important to keep in the back of your mind the location of each of your teammates. It's also to keep your ear open for the sound of someone being shivved. If that happens, be sure to check out the area that teammate was currently at. It's important so that you can prey upon the shiver instead of becoming another one of his victims. And after taking out the shiver, be sure to check your surroundings to make sure it wasn't 2 covert players working in tandem. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about reviving. It's one of the most important aspects of the game. But it's important to know that some players will use downed opponents as bait. Always take a good scan of the area, because one of the worst things you can do is turn 1 down into 2. When you go in for a revive, it's important to remember that you only need 1 person reviving. Having more than 1 person go in for a revive creates a terrible opportunity for your opponents to take out 2, 3, or even 4 of you. I go in for the revive here, and both of my other teammates go in for the revive as well. They should have been covering our flanks on each side. That was a smart move, but we got lucky here and we all made it out. Be a good strategist and don't do this.
Good to go.
Here's another good tip. While we're reviving, you can use the opportunity to reload your weapon. Here, while reviving, I reload my variable rifle. That way it is good to go should anyone walk into this room while I'm reviving him. It's also a good idea to keep your weapon reloaded at all times, so that way you can quickly react to others. It's also a really good use of time. Here's my last tip on reviving. When you inevitably find yourself down, it is really important to respect both not only your life, but also your teammates. Here, 2 of my teammates get downed by a bomb.
I'm down.
The smart thing here for them is to make it over to cover where I am. I take cover to make sure all 3 of us don't get downed.
I'll fix you up.
Sure, I'm only able to revive 1, but it's better than all 3 of us getting eliminated.
Looking out.
Next, we're going to discuss PreAiming. I feel this is one of the most important topics that a lot of people don't know anything about. You ever wonder how some people just pop up and hit you with a headshot? Well, this is how they do it. Some players are supremely gifted and always know where the center of the screen is. The most likely answer is that they have a faded target in the center of their screen. Some monitors and displays come with this option already built in. I use a simple method, a small piece of scotch tape with a small circle drawn with a marker. Let's watch this whole little sequence here again with one of these drawn in. You'll see how beneficial it is to setting up your shots. Most of the work of good headshots comes before you actually decide to aim. I'm crouching here, get the target near my target. Bam. I'll do the same thing here. Try to set up my cursor so that it's ready to go right on my target before I even decide to pull the trigger. Here's another clip. This time I don't have the pre-aiming target in place. You can see it's a little difficult to decide exactly where the opponent's head and shoulders are. You'll notice also that I have to place the camera slightly up from the crouched position, so that when I do pop up, the target reticle is in the right spot. With the pre-aiming target in place, this becomes a lot easier, as you'll see. It may be difficult for some people at first to have the idea of running around with this target already in place on the screen. But after a little bit of practice, I think you'll find that it'll be quite easy to get used to and extremely helpful. Also note that the actual target I use is not a bright red, it's more of a dark gray. Here's some examples of how this can be extremely useful having one of these targets on your screen.
Ain't got many left. Keep it up. Focus down.
Let's have a quick discussion about marking. Marking is almost always a great idea. Not only does it call out your opponent's location to the rest of your teammates, but it can also help you line up your shots. And should that opponent be downed or executed, you get additional parts for having called them out first. Here's a tip. You can also mark without even using your weapon. I just marked that guy while we were loading. There are some situations when you do not want to use marking. If you use headphones like myself, then you can pinpoint when other players call out using marking. If you're using a covert loadout, I highly suggest you think twice before marking, as a good player will be able to pinpoint exactly where you are, thus blowing your cover. Believe it or not, but there are some ways in this game to mark safely beneath cover. Most people mark like this. They pull out their gun and press R3. But there's a completely different method to marking that can keep you beneath cover. I suggest using a smoke instead of a molly, as a molly leaves a glow. But when you go down like this, you can still mark people beneath cover. Yes, they'll still hear you calling out, but they will not be able to see you. Add in that pre-aim assist, and you can see this is an easy way to rack up a ton of parts, particularly with the right kind of loadout.
Look out, he's got a rifle.
Now some quick tips about bombs. When using bombs, you pretty much always want to bank it off something. That can be a wall, a windowsill, a ceiling, the floor, even another opponent. You just want to hit it against something first. Doing so will activate the bomb before it even reaches its desired area. Thus, it'll explode faster than just throwing it straight at an opponent. You can see in this situation, by doing so, banking off that windowsill, it activated just in front of two of my opponents in here, killing both of them. A well-placed bomb can be highly effective. I will show you a great spot here on the dam, just by this snag over here. If you drop it here, it'll roll down to the perfect spot that makes it very difficult for opponents to run past. But as I mentioned in the map radar, you need to be smart about when you drop it. As you can see here, opponents saw my red blip and immediately started heading this direction. Always approach opponents' bombs with caution. Help out your teammates by marking the bombs. Some people don't know this, but you can actually even activate the bombs by shooting them. In this case, the bomb exploded underneath the car and downed my opponent. As long as I'm here, I might as well show you this great bomb spot as well. This bush by the supply box here is an excellent spot, as the bomb can literally roll underneath the bush, making it difficult to spot. Always check out the surrounding areas around supply boxes thoroughly. That way, you don't become a victim, like this guy did here.
I'm all done. Let's go.
Here's a pro tip to use in the right situation. If you see someone drop a bomb near you, you can literally just run past the bomb, thus activating it. In this situation, the guy downed himself, giving me an easy execution. Now here's a clip I really want to show you, not only because it demonstrates effective use of the PreAim technique, but also because it shows the great combo of using a nail bomb with a launcher. When timed right, this can have a devastating effect that not only downs the opponent but also executes them at the same time. In the interrogation game mode, this can be particularly effective when opponents have placed bombs all around the maps that you can activate against them. Well, this concludes my third installment of the Beginner Guide series. I'll leave you with this funny bomb clip. Hopefully you learned something new today, and if you did, please let me know by leaving a comment below or subscribing. Alright, catch you guys in the next one.